Kjære Odd, kjære kolleger. Vi vet jo alle at Odd ikke liker å bli feiret, så jeg har lovet ham å gjøre det kort. Men du slipper ikke helt unna, Odd, så... Som en av de mest erfarne, for ikke å nevne pålitelige lokførere vi har hatt, er det meg en stor glede på vegne av Lokomotivpersonalets forening å overrekke deg sølvlokomotivet. For nærmere 40 års innsats. Vi ønsker deg en strålende og velfortjent pensjonisttilværelse. Gratulerer, Odd.
Takk.
Er dere klare? 1, 2, 3.
Mr. Hamer, this film was, how should I say, I know I'm a journalist, but I'm also a filmmaker, and this film kind of inspired me as a filmmaker. So my first question to you is, who inspires you to make films, whether it be other filmmaker or who in life inspires you to do what you do?
I think anything can inspire me, but first of all, of course, there must be a need of telling a story, and I like to think that the main thing about telling a story, even if it's writing or filmmaking, or we can talk about other art forms as well, has nothing to do with the art form itself. So it has nothing to do with film. I like to think that it must come from somewhere, and I think I get inspired by anything. I mean, but of course then you have to decide and to write the story, or to pick a story, or do an adaptation. And again, hopefully it's functioning very well on the first level, but still it should represent more than the first level also, to give a depth to something that can last, and you bring with you good questions, I would say, after the film is finished, which also should be before it's made. You know? I think that's the best answer I can give.
Okay, now this story about Odd Horton is I guess a little odd to say the least, that we're doing a story about a locomotive engineers retiring, and it seems so basic. Like, what in that story were you as a filmmaker able to see that, like, oh, this needs to be transferred to film? Like what in that basic, simple story, were you able to like see through and say that this would make an extraordinary film?
Of course, when you're dealing with film, and you have the images and sound and so on, the whole setting, I think the story could have been the basic, I would say, meaning of the story could have been told through another profession. But when I decided to tell the story through a trained engineer, I mean, then for me it's kind of crucial to tell it through the images, maybe more than dialogue. It's also very hard to write good dialogue.
Right.
So I try to avoid it. And to catch an atmosphere, which also contains the unsaid depth of a story. And it's always difficult to catch an atmosphere. You can do everything is correct in the film. I mean, all kind of elements, but still, there are no atmosphere. It's stone dead.
Right.
Which is always tricky. But I think I try to plan to give room to all the characters in one hand. On the other hand, I try to find out what can create this atmosphere. And it's, of course, it's all the camera work, it's the colors. The loneliness, I'm working with the solitude, which is a big part of this story. And to grab life in a way, and not just stick to the routines, which is hopefully valid for other parts of life and other ages also, which is the depth of the story and not only the first level. I think I try to capture it also through, even on the public places, I have not too many people, and like I said, the colors outside, the blue and white, and inside the yellow, brown, which all creates the kind of atmosphere around the character, which again hopefully gives this flavor and meaning of the story.
Jeg håper vi slipper elg på linjen I kveld. Fremdeles har jeg blod på uniformsjakken, altså. Ikke gå det vekk heller. Ikke noe ekstra betalt for det heller. Jeg skulle egentlig ha fri I denne helgen her. Og så sa jeg ja til en ekstra vakt. Så egentlig bare sove lenge. Ta en tur på byen. Se om jeg treffer noen damer, kanskje.
Jeg våkner tidlig uansett, ja.
Det gjør ikke jeg I hvert fall. Hva er det 65 eller er det 66 som pensjonsalderen?
67.
Da holder du deg godt, må jeg si. Jeg har rykter om at du skal hedres også når du går av. Ja. Kanskje ikke helt din stil, å bli hedret med deg. Neste vinter skal jeg I hvert fall ta meg en tur til Thailand, det noe helt sikkert.
Mr. Hamer, what you said about the imagery is definitely true. Like I love the opening sequence with the train and the credits and everything like that. It was like I said, as a filmmaker, I was awe-inspired and like inspired to do more with filmmaking. But also like what you did with the character, because he was, like you said, in solitude. And he was mostly quiet unless he was with his mom and stuff. But he was still able to transfer like all this depth and emotion through just his facial expressions. How important was the casting of your main character in this movie to the success of it?
Yeah, the casting is, I think it's always crucial, but of course when the whole film more or less is carried by one main character that you see in each and one shot throughout the film, you have to have someone, not only the face, but and so little dialogue as well.
Right.
Something that you can stay with and even develop together with through the film. So that was really crucial. Also, the beginning, like you said, and the inspiration for the beginning was actually I was in London doing press for Factotum, my last film shot in the US, and I came home very late or early in the morning, and I couldn't really sleep, so I put on the TV, and it was this train channel. They put up a camera in front of the train, and they just drive. And but you think it's boring, and in a way it is, but still you can't really get off the hook. Yeah. You have just to watch it a little bit more around the next bend. Right. And each time it went into tunnels, they just cut up to the train engineer and then back again and out of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And that was actually what inspires me for the whole opening of the film. It gave me a chance to show him in his work in a very poetic way, but still very authentic way. Do all the credits and no dialogue, just showing it. So that one was directly inspired, or directly stolen, I would say, from that TV channel.
Well, I definitely appreciate your work, and I'm hoping that your audience will appreciate this great film you made, O Horten.